to Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Vaynerchuk. And this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And it is a huge day. Huge. Because the New York Jets season is underway today. I'm going to be heading over to the Meadowlands, to the new Jets Stadium, very, very, very shortly. But I'm excited to be taping this episode. First, I want to apologize. Last week, between the Jewish holidays and my dad's birthday and just, Labor Day, got an awkward week, and I missed you guys. So I'm excited about banging out this episode today. And we're going to southern Italy. We'll get to that in a second. But first, a couple comments and my official New York Jets prediction. Let's start with the official Jets prediction. I'm predicting the New York Jets will be 11-5 this season. However, I'm also predicting that the New York Jets will start out 0-2. You hear that, Michelle? Now, Mott's on vacation. Michelle's also a Giants fan. I can't catch a break behind the camera. Giants looked solid yesterday. Okay, actually, though. I think Carolina's going to be terrible. So, big test for the G-Men this upcoming week against the Colts. How do you feel about that, Michelle? You think they're going to win that game? It's a tough one. Though Colts lost, though. I don't know if you saw that. Pats looked amazingly strong. I do think that we're going to beat them up in Foxborough later this year, but I am worried about our game with them this week. I think it's going to be a tough week for the Jets today, and then I actually think the Ravens and Patriots are two of the three best teams in the AFC, but I picked the Jets to go 11-5, losing to the Patriots, the Ravens, the Packers, the Texans, and one other game that I haven't decided on yet. Big season, big hopes, very, very excited. Hope I see a bunch of you there tonight. I know a lot of people going tonight for the first game, and that's that. Great lineup of shows this week. Got a lot of neat stuff in over the last 3 or 4 weeks, so really going to be bang-out shows. Please join me on Thursday night on Sirius or XM. We're having a lot of fun. A bunch of you guys are starting to call in. NYP, Brandon M., thank you so much for calling in and representing the Vayner Nation, the Vayniacs. That's a lot of fun, and it's just good to be here. Number 20, this is not Thomas Jones. This is the rookie Wilson. This is jersey, so he's very important tonight and next week as well. So, because he will be doing a little Wes Welker following around. So, enough football. We did a little bit of that. I had to get that out of my, oh, by the way, I am so sorry to all the Detroit Lion fans. Matt, if you're watching, I know you're a big, Matt from DC, big Lions fan. You see that on the news, Michelle? Ridiculous. But anyway, terrible call. We are going to Calabria. We are going to Puglia. We're going to Puglia, and we're going to Sicily. We're doing Southern Italian wines. I think they're very value-driven, and in general, bring a lot of thunder. I mean, $12, $11, and $18, respectfully. So all under 20 bones. Really interesting wines, different varietals than you guys are used to. By the way, big shout out to everybody who's now a huge fan of Nebbiolo. We went through a huge Nebbiolo phase a couple weeks ago. My friend Jake Rose, I've seen some people tweeting at me. Nebbiolo's on fire out there. And that's kind of the essence and soul of Wine Library TV. The Thunder Show wants to get you to try new things, and we're going to do that today because all three wines are quite different and not the kind of things I think you guys are all used to drinking. So Statti, this is a very little wine and very interesting wine from Statti. It's a Gaglioppo. So even though it looks like Gaglioppo, it is called Gaglioppo. It is from Calabria, 88 points. Antonio Galoni, $12. This is 100% Gaglioppo. It's also from a gorgeous 500 hectare estate, 75 hectares of which are planted. Now, originally Gaglioppo, for a long time in the wine world, was considered a Greek varietal brought to Italy, but recent DNA tests are confirming, or at least debating, that it is originally from Italy. So let's see what's going on here. The first thing you will notice is it's kind of lighter. It is not the darkest wine you'll ever see, almost like a kind of Sangiovese, almost Pinot Noir-like coloring, so not very, very dark. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Some rose petal coming through, which I like quite a bit. Little hints of raspberries, too, almost like those yellow, those yellow raspberries, Michelle? Have you ever seen them? They're not like red. They're literally yellow raspberries. Never seen them. Whole Foods, Wegmans? No. Now you're seeing.
I don't eat raspberries.
Very good. What is your favorite fruit?
Melon.
Melon. cantaloupe or like watermelon?
Both.
You're a melon gal. I like melon too a lot. It's a big Russian thing. We always have melon at the Russian dinners. So, yellow raspberries, a little bit of rose petal, a little spiciness on the back end, but kind of like, not spiciness, kind of like aerosol-y kind of spray, like, actually, almost like if you had, like, you know, when you, in the bathrooms, you have nice little smells to make it nice, the can sprayed. If it was like a spicy rose flavor, that's what it would smell like. You walk into, that's what it goes with. All right, a little chalk on the back end as well. Let's give it a whirl. So here's the initial flavoring. It's medium-bodied wine. I kind of like the old world rugged aspect to this wine. So it comes across a little old world to me, which I like. It's got some of that kind of you know, balsamic vinegar meets, you know, it's kind of like what I have on top of my salad, balsamic vinegar and oil. It's got a little bit of that kind of nuance, believe it or not. Rose petals, the tannic finish is quite interesting to me, but it's vibrant but light, if that makes sense. Small but mighty, kind of like when Snooki throws some punches. You know, it's small but mighty, but it is a wine that is to be drank by itself, maybe with some salad. Not very, very complicated tannin structure. Definitely not full-bodied. A little bit of like sour cherry, but I wouldn't say very fruit-driven. And it's a solid, okay wine. Gaglioppo, I think, is a varietal that all of you guys should go out and try. Raise your hand if you've had Gaglioppo. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, you know, go expand it. Do that. That's what the wine world's about. That's what this episode, Southern Italy, is definitely about. Statti is a solid producer of this varietal. I think Antonio Goloni, who writes for Robert Parker's Wine Advocate, is probably the best Italian wine writer he's had for a long time, if maybe not ever, who's pretty conservative. Giving this an 88 is a little high on my scale. I'm going to go 84 on this wine. Solid, maybe worth 12 bones to expand your palate, but that's about it. So, let's move on. Let's move on to this little wine. This one's going to get real interesting. I'm going to rinse. And let's get into it. What we have here for you, my friends, is the Toro Quattro, a 2007 from Puglia. This is an Uva di Troia. Right there, you'll see the varietal. Uva di Troia, again, a very, very, very small varietal, named for the town it was discovered within Puglia. People can bring back this varietal back to the 11th century. This is $11, 90 points Goloni. Again, if you don't know who Antonio Goloni is, you're probably not all that excited. If you do, you're freaking out, because that is a humongous score for an $11 bottle of wine for him. Now, you can tell right off the bat, it is a darker varietal than the first one. The Gaglioppo is very much known for, you know, being tough in desert and doing really well in like warm weather places, whereas Uva di Troia is a more kind of not flexible with the heat varietal, but, you know, really, really structured, has a little bit more oomph to it. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. And right off the bat, there's a distinctly more intriguing, delicious factor on the nose in this wine. I get some strawberries. I definitely get black pepper on this, which I like quite a bit. It also comes across old world. That's two really interesting things right in a row. You know, two wines in a row that are more old world, haven't been affected by the creamy, oaky, over-the-top structure that I think Australia and definitely Spain as an old world country got caught up in, maybe even the Rhone. I give Italy a lot of credit. Overall, through this whole last decade of the modernization of the wine world, they've stayed very true to their terroir, their DNA, their culture, and that's been impressive to watch from afar. That being said, we're going to do a Pinot Noir Merlot blend next, so that's a little bit more of a New World play. Let's see what happens there. Let's focus on this. A little bit of tobacco leaf, a little cigar smoke. Nice. Really nice. Let's give it a whirl. This wine's bringing it. Good thick tannins. Good thick palate structure. Good viscosity. The weight of the wine is really exciting. And the tannins are really firm, but kind of integrated and delicious. really kind of like a grape, which is kind of like so boring to say, but like this kind of like grape candy integration, but not sweet, like a sour grape candy, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Integrated with some really interesting pepper, tobacco leaf flavors, and then almost like a crushed cassis flavor throughout the finish. This is very good. This is really, really good. Like, I'm going to go get Ian right now and find out if we can buy more for Wine Library Good, and that rarely happens on the show. How do I say this properly? This beats the crap out of almost every Chianti under $15 that I've tasted in the last year, and maybe last 3 years. This is really, really good wine. It's time for people to recognize Puglia is bringing really, really good wines to the table at really, really attractive price points. Puglia is one of my favorite regions in all of Italy right now, value-wise, and this wine from a grape varietal, again, that so few people have had. Again, raise your hand if you've had it. You're not going to get a lot of people in the room that know it even, or have ever even heard of it, let alone tasted it. This is a spectacular bottle of wine. I'm also going to score it 90 points. I think Galoni drills it right down the pipe. The way Sanchez is going to hit, Braylon Edwards in stride today. No Ed Reed. 90 points, $11. One of the best values of the year on Wine Library TV, no doubt. Hands down, one of the best values we've had on the show. This is very delicious, great for New World fans. I see a lot of Zinfandel, Petit Syrah fans enjoying this wine. I see Cabernet drinkers enjoying it. I definitely see Crow's Hermitage, Gigondas, Cornas drinkers liking it. I see Priorat fans liking it. This is a very flexible kind of wide range of flavors that is going to appeal to a lot of people. Medium to full-bodied, big and strong for $11. Are you kidding me? Winner. And finally, at 18 US dollars, do a little rinse. Very nice. What we have here is from Moraji, 2005 Saia Grande, fermented in stainless steels, 40 hectares planted, 45% Merlot, 45% Syrah, 10% Pinot Noir. Very New World from Sicily, very New World varietals. Merlot, Syrah, and Pinot. Funky, 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 funky. You know that song, Michelle? Remember? Funky, funky, funky. Sorry. So this is funky. It smells a little bit interesting. The Pinot Merlot Syrah thing is producing a very different kind of thing here. It kind of smells a little bit like a farm after a very big rainstorm. Maybe like a nor'easter, not like a hurricane. So you get like wet leaves mixed with like cow manure and topsoil. So not very appealing on the nose on sound, but an awkward, interesting kind of nose for a wine drinker. It's also kind of subtle. I do get black raspberry on the tail end, which I think is kind of interesting. Let's give it a whirl. Not bad. Medium-bodied, kind of, first of all, atrocious finish on this wine, which bothers me quite a bit, and is going to hurt the wine score quite a bit. Just an awkward finish, don't like it at all, not feeling it. It starts off really strong. And then it finishes a little bit softer, kind of like the Patriots yesterday. It just doesn't really do much for me. Big flavors up front that I like, a little bit of like pork and beans meets kind of raspberry jam, and I'm being serious. Nice full body, and then kind of loses some of its way. I mean, literally everything, from the flavor, from the taste, from the finish, it just goes downhill. It's kind of like Splash Mountain at Disney World. I'm going to score this wine 81 points. I'm going to reverse the price point. 18 bones, 81 points. I'm going to give it a pass. Not my cup of tea. Not feeling it, as they say, when you're playing b-ball and dropping threes like the raindrops. I'm not a fan. So, interesting show. Did not like the last wine. Loved the middle wine. Was okay about the first wine. And what I love about this triangle of terror is that this is the least expensive wine of the bunch, which, once again, is such a fascinating component to the wine world. Really interesting wines. I hope, most of all, expanding your palate. I mean, come on, Uva di Troia. I mean, really fun in that way. Good show, exciting day for me, obviously, and I hope you guys are doing well. Going to bring some thunder this week. Get ready. You know, I'm going to try to bring it for you. Question of the day. What is your prediction for your football team? I want to know what your team is and what your record is. And if you want to get ballsy like I did, pick out the losses. I'd also like, if you watch this before tonight's game, your Jets-Ravens prediction. Mine is 21-10 Ravens. Tough way to start. Sorry, but I call him like a Sam. Well, of course, I'll be thrilled if the Jets win. You, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine.